Hi everyone, this is Veronica. Today we are going to talk about rains and floods and their management in our country. Because these days floods seem to be a calendar event in our country. Flood governance in India, are we prepared enough? So that is what we are going to talk about in this lecture. So this is our channel StudyIQ. If you're preparing for any government exam, our pen drive and tablet courses are also available. If you wish to buy these courses, you can get them at ₹625 per month also. For additional information, you can visit our website. To connect with me, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook because I feel together we can make a huge difference. Now, in what context today we are going to study this? See, widespread monsoon rains across the country with floods in some states, they have caused havoc. Concerted measures by states to deal, that's what we need to look at. India is one of the worst flood affected nation across the world. The frequency of urban floods due to high intensity rainfall is increasing over the years. Flood management and flood governance are in news often. So, in this lecture, we will analyze India's disaster response capabilities to tackle floods and how much we are doing. So, we'll talk about monsoon status, but before that, what is a flood? Flood is basically such a high stage in a water course, that is river, or it could be a river tributary or a water retaining body, that is a lake, pond, reservoir, seas, ocean or other low-lying areas. So the level at which water overflows over its banks and inundates the adjoining areas. This is called flood. So they are one of the natural calamities that India faces almost every year in varying degree of magnitude. So talking about current monsoon status, so there is a pre-monsoon phase between March and May. It is worrying because rainfall is scarce. However, the current robust monsoon season in most parts of coastal, western, central India augurs well for the entire economy. Now you see the beneficial conditions in the Indian Ocean have actually aided the very heavy rainfall recorded so far. This is especially true in the case of Maharashtra, Gujarat, Rajasthan, northeastern states, Karnataka, Konkan coast, hilly districts of Kerala and Tamil Nadu. So this pattern may extend into Chhattisgarh, Odisha, Bengal and other eastern regions as well. So now what is the caution that we need to follow? See the recent floods in Kerala, Maharashtra and even if you remember the Chennai catastrophe of 2015 remind of the negative sides to rains. The long-term trends for flood impact in India have been one of the declining loss of lives in cattle since decade high in 1971 and 80. Though in 71 and 80 it was at high, but we cannot say that at that time 1,000 people were dying and now 200 people are dying. So yeah, we have achievement. So even one person is dying is not an achievement. However, there is rising absolute economic losses also, though not as a share of GDP, but there can be a terrible cost in terms of lives and property lost and people displaced in events of flood. So distressing scenes of death and destruction are again being witnessed. Even in a rain shadow region, if you know Coimbatore area in Tamil Nadu, the collapse of railway parcel office after a downpour has led to avoidable deaths. So such deaths could have been avoided. All these call for taking a preparatory measures for the rainy season. So when we talk about flood management, it does not aim at total elimination or control of floods or providing total immunity from the effects of all magnitudes of floods, but basically flood management is a multi-pronged strategy ranging from modifying the floods by means of structural measures to learning to live with the floods by means of other non-structural measures is well within pragmatic realism in flood management. So because what happens if there is a course of a river or a tributary, there are the regions around it where the constructions are not allowed, but what we people do, we go and construct the businesses, the houses here. So when there is an extreme of rainfall and the floods, the floods, the area of the course of the river, it expands to these areas, it overflows, and then we see the losses to the property and lives. But these constructions could have been avoided, because we know this could be the course of the river if there are extreme rainfalls or floods. So an efficient flood management is a special case of water management, and it requires most holistic approach, as it involves the management of thousands of micro watersheds in both the catchment and flood prone areas. So there are two things: flood protection versus flood governance. So flood protection necessarily starts and ends with structural intervention and provision of relief, and when we talk about flood governance, it would require the innovative combination of initiatives undertaken at various levels. So at one level, you can say it is important to conduct strategic environment assessment of all the development activities in the ecological pristine locations of the eastern Himalayas and aim for river basin management. So what are our concerns in this regard? So basically, the response of the governments to this imperative is usually very delayed. States are hesitant to act against encroachment of lake catchments, river courses and floodplain plains. As I told you, if this is the course of river, so here the construction should not be allowed. But states are very hesitant to act against these encroachments. For example, even in the extreme distress in Chennai 2015 has not persuaded the state government against allowing structures being constructed on a lake bed after reclassification of land. So granting such permissions is a clear abdication of responsibility and violation of National Disaster Management Authority guidelines to prevent urban flooding. So now, what are the measures that could be taken? See, it is important to increase resilience through planning, especially in cities and towns which are expanding steadily. Orderly urban development is very critical for sustainability. But as the mega flood disasters in Mumbai and Chennai indicate, we need to work upon it. So then, water harvesting measures, as advocated by Central's Jal Shakti Abhiyan, and a safety audit of structures should be taken up. So in drafting their management plans, state must be aware of scientific consensus on future rain spells influenced by a changing climate. So if you know, here we should not do the constructions because in future there could be rain spells. It should be avoided. So it should be taken up in the policy making and drafting management plans also. So they need to invest in reliable. So this is what we are talking about way forward. That government need to invest in reliable infrastructure to mitigate the impact of flooding and avert disasters that could have global consequences in an integrated economy. And even the scientific hydrology coupled with traditional wisdom, if they are coupled, both these things of saving water through large innovative structures, it will definitely mitigate floods and help communities prosper. So this is what I suggest. In comment box you can tell me how we can lessen the impact of floods. So there are two things, as I said. One is flood protection, other is flood governance. So there could be precautions also, and other thing could be once flood is struck, it has hit any area, then what should we do? You can give me the answers in the comment box. So this is all about today's lecture. If you have any queries, you can contact me on email, Instagram, Facebook. Thank you.